Camping has always been my family's favorite summer pastime. Heck, I was 2 weeks old when my folks took me on my first camping trip. But this isn't the story of my first camping trip, but the first time I encountered a bear in the wild. By the time 1999 came around, my 5-year-old self would have considered me to be an expert camper. And by my standards, I was. I could sufficiently roast a marshmallow and squeeze it between 2 halves of a graham cracker. All you need to know if you want to go camping. Though my mother would argue my skills otherwise. 5-year-olds haven't typically grown out of their messy eater phase. Honestly, at 32, I'm still working on that. So, my mother brilliantly set me aside at the picnic table in an attempt to keep my t-shirt mallow-free. Like many other campsites, our site at the Paulina Lake Campground was equipped with a parking spot big enough to handle our 1994 Toyota Previa, a standard fire ring that could fit the 4 of us, and a plain old picnic table. If you've ever been camping before, you'll know the picnic table handles both the kitchen and this is where all the gear and food stuff goes. Duties. So when my mother set me at the table, she also accidentally set me at the open bag of marshmallows. Having eaten most of my s'more, I did the best I could, but, I'm 5 years old. About half of it wound up on my cheeks and nose. I decided to dive into the bag of raw mellows. Camping is a different experience. During the night, there are no street lamps, no cars driving by, no people. Aside from weak flashlights, the lone light source is the campfire, which does a great job at not letting your eyes adjust to the darkness, leaving you pretty much blind if you happen to be more than a few feet from the fire. I was at least 3 marshmallows deep when the bag vanished. I looked around to see if my brother had stolen it back to his warm, bright seat at the fire. But no, his hands were empty. Slightly confused, I accepted the tragedy and began to make my way off the bench seat to rejoin my family at the fire. As I turned my head, I noticed 2 strange glimmers about 10 feet away, and I could hear the rustling of a soft plastic bag. The black fur of the bear made it all but impossible to see, all but 2 beady eyes and big, sharp teeth. I could see a floating bag of marshmallows being eaten 1 single marshmallow at a time. "Mom, there's a bear and it scared me," I said calmly. "No, you didn't. It was a shadow. Don't worry about it," my mother said in disbelief. "There was. It had 2 little eyes and big, sharp teeth," I said, trying to convince my mother. She looked over and turned a sudden shade of pale. She had to see it to believe the little boy who cried bear. "Everyone, load up into the van, now," my mother ordered. The bear had long scampered off, but still we stayed the whole night in the safety of our Privia. Looking back on that night, I realized that I totally lied when I said the bear scared me, and that scares me now. But at least I can say I shared a bag of marshmallows with a bear, and I sure am glad it didn't see my sticky face and assume I was a marshmallow too.